Kids explore nuclear science at AMSE. Nuclear science is about ionizing radiation. There are three ways of figuring out whether there's any ionizing radiation, and to protect yourself, it involves time, distance, and shielding. If you can wait long enough, all the radiation will dissipate and go away. It's the energy being given off by the atoms. But a lot of times we can't wait because uranium takes 4.6 billion years to decay into lead. What we do is we have a container of pennies representing these atoms, shake them out on the table, remove the heads, and they're the ones that have decayed. The tails stay in, and those are the ones that are still active. And so by doing this in a sequence of shakes, you can determine the half-life of an atom. Another way of determining whether there's any radiation is distance. And with a flashlight, if you shine it very close, that's going to be a more intense beam. The farther away you are, the less radiation you're going to be receiving, and way up here, very little radiation. So this is a good way of showing ionizing radiation. Can't see it, feel, taste, or hear it. So if I take one of our little sources, this is strontium-90, and put it on this ruler, and I'm going to turn our Geiger counter on, it shows how many beats or how many counts per second. I move it farther away, just like the flashlight, less radiation, ionizing radiation, and at 3 inches, very little. So that's another way of protecting yourself from radiation. The third is shielding. When you go to a dentist, they put a lead apron over you, and the nurse steps out, probably behind a concrete or lead shield. So if I turn my Geiger counter on and put a series of papers over the detector, you can see quite a bit of radiation is going through that paper. But if I put a piece of lead over the probe, put this, it stops it. So strontium-90 is giving off radiation, but lead shield stops that radiation. Another is cobalt-60. It is giving off a lot of ionizing radiation. If I put a piece of lead between it and the probe, it still goes through. So it is a gamma ray detector. So I have some examples of sources of radiation. This is an older Fiesta-ware dish. You can see that there's radiation being given off by the dish, not enough to be harmful. A Coleman Lantern, like the small gas lanterns, this is the mantle. You light it and it gives that bright illumination. It has thorium in it, that's a radioactive material. It gives off alpha particles. Alpha particles can be stopped by your clothing or one sheet of paper. This watch face has radium paint on it to glow in the dark. It has a small amount of radioactivity, but it does glow in the dark. So ionizing radiation can't be seen, felt, tasted, or heard. You have to have a Geiger counter, an instrument that measures the amount of ionizing radiation. This is how kids explore nuclear science at AMSE.